From ancient alchemy to modern culture, alcohol carries a profound paradox, a substance that offers temporary relief, yet often clouds deeper truths. The alcohol on your shelf hides roots in mysticism and alchemy, a heritage so rich it could shift your perception of reality forever. What if the word alcohol itself holds a hidden revelation? The term alcohol comes from Arabic, originally referring to a fine powdered substance made from antimony called al-kuhul. This subtle essence was believed to purify the eyes, not only physically but symbolically, enhancing one's ability to perceive beyond surface reality. Over time, alcohol came to signify the essence extracted through alchemical distillation. This essence, whether material or spiritual, represents transformation, refinement, the potent core distilled from raw matter. In alchemy, alcohol embodies transformation, the very essence of spiritual alchemy. Just as substances are distilled to reveal their refined core, the soul undergoes spiritual purification, emerging closer to higher consciousness. Yet alcohol, when misused, becomes a deceptive stand-in for true spiritual elevation, an imitation of transcendence. It was meant to symbolize distillation, separates purity from impurity, yielding a concentrated product. Metaphorically, this mirrors the soul's journey through trials toward divine union. But alcohol's paradox lies in its dual nature. Though alchemical in origin, its overuse disconnects rather than unites. True spiritual essence is clarity, divine connection, elevated consciousness. Alcohol as a physical substance temporarily alters perception, but remains a shallow substitute to inner transformation achieved through meditation, prayer, and self-discipline. In mystical traditions, the soul is likened to a flame stretching toward its divine source. Alcohol lowers vibration, disturbing the resonance between body, mind, and a higher spiritual realm. It veils the soul's innate connection to divinity. Its altered states mimic liberation, but unlike meditation, which elevates, alcohol numbs the mind and locks the soul into the material plane. Alcohol also affects the pineal gland or third eye, believed to facilitate spiritual insight. Regular consumption dulls intuitive perception and disconnects individuals from their internal guidance system. While spiritual practices promote awareness, presence, and sensitivity to subtle energies, alcohol undermines this by dulling perceptivity. Over time, this leads to stagnation, confusion, and the loss of higher purpose. The awareness naturally cultivated by spiritual seekers is diminished, trapping them in a loop of illusion and temporary gratification. Eastern traditions often view alcohol as a symbol of samsara, the cyclical captivity of suffering and desire. Consumed to escape pain or chase pleasure, alcohol fuels attachment. Its temporary euphoria gives way to crash and craving, a reflection of samsara's repeating pattern, intoxicating highs followed by suffering. Similarly, the soul remains trapped in addiction and dissatisfaction until true liberation is realized. At its core, the desire for intoxication reflects a distorted longing for transcendence. Alcohol mimics union but deepens disconnection, offering escape but not fulfillment. That counterfeited bliss masks the soul's real need to reconnect with its divine origin. Spiritual awakening begins when we redirect that desire inward to practices that offer authentic transcendence. Meditation, chanting, and devotion unlock the true bliss alcohol imitates. When that shift happens, the cycle of craving transforms into liberation. Alcohol's essence and origin reveal a spiritual paradox. Its alchemical roots point to refinement and elevation, yet its misuse plunges us into lower vibrations. Spiritual masters call for clarity, awareness, and inner connection, qualities alcohol erodes. To break free from desire's web, we must recognize the soul's true longing, divine union. From that realization, a journey unfolds, turning unconscious craving into conscious awakening. Rumi, the great Sufi poet, often spoke of intoxication, but not from substances. His references are metaphors, the divine ecstasy of spiritual union. In his writings, wine symbolizes divine love, an elixir elevating the soul into infinite joy. "Be drunk with love," he wrote, "for love is all that exists." Rumi contrasts this divine intoxication with the false refuge of physical intoxication. The latter numbs perception and hides higher truths. Physical wine is a pale imitation of the ecstasy found in the one infinite creator. Osho taught that alcohol is a barrier to mindfulness. It numbs the senses, dulls presence, and distances us from reality. He spoke of alcohol as an anesthetic, used to escape life, not confront growth. True transformation, he emphasized, requires full presence. Anything that clouds awareness impedes spiritual evolution. Paramahansa Yogananda stressed self-discipline and spiritual clarity. He warned that alcohol disrupts concentration and weakens willpower, the very tools needed for meditation and communion with the divine. Intoxicants destroy the harmony of body and mind, he said. For him, spiritual liberation stems from mastery of the senses, not their suppression through intoxication. Ancient spiritual traditions also caution against alcohol. In Buddhism, abstinence from intoxicants is one of the 5 precepts vital for clarity and ethical living. In Hindu scriptures, alcohol is linked to loss of discipline and moral decay. Even within Sufi metaphors, physical wine is discouraged as it distracts the seeker from unity with God. Gnostic texts teach that worldly wine symbolizes attachment. True liberation comes from gnosis, spiritual knowledge, not indulgence. In the Bible, wine is a dual symbol, a sacred element in Eucharist, yet Proverbs warns, wine is a mocker. Whoever is deceived by it is not wise. This duality underscores alcohol's ability to both connect and disconnect the soul, depending on context and intention. In alchemical and mystical traditions, wine represents the spiritual elixir, not physical drink, but divine grace that intoxicates the spirit with joy and insight. Mistaking the material for the spiritual intoxication leads to confusion. Spiritual inebriation is not dulling, but awakening, an opening to interconnectedness and infinite love. Mystics teach that true intoxication arises from meditation, devotion, prayer, or acts of love, where ego dissolves and the soul touches infinity. The Persian poet Hafez says, "I am a flute that the Christ breath moves through. Listen to this music." He encapsulates spiritual intoxication as surrender to divine grace flowing through the soul. It's time to lift the veil, reclaim your divine connection, and begin the journey of true awakening. If you're still with me, subscribe and share this with someone who needs it. If this resonated with you, please leave a comment about your journey with alcohol. Awaken, ascend, become.